All right, everybody. Hello, and I hope your evening is going good on this Sunday. A blizzard warning has been extended into the midnight hour for the Red River Valley counties. We'll show you that. We'll talk about when the wind does start to die down for you. We'll look at those problem areas on roads quickly, and then we'll look ahead to the forecast. That's what you need before the week gets going here. One great football game going on, but we'll get this in your hands with this update here so you can get the information you need now for the rest of the night. Again, a blizzard warning has been extended in time and not in aerial coverage, and in fact we've had some areas that have seen a dropping of the blizzard warning. That's in the Devil's Lake Basin. Let's go ahead and open up our radar view here as we head into your evening hours. The Red River Valley counties here that you see in flashing pink and the northeast quadrant of South Dakota remain in a blizzard warning now until midnight. It earlier was set to expire at 9 o'clock as we now have it extended to midnight. The Devil's Lake Basin, your area is now free of the blizzard warning in your particular area, but the blue that you see here, this light blue color, is for a cold air advisory tonight. Wind chills 30 to 40 degrees below zero. Now the darker blues that you're seeing here, some bands of snow and blowing snow do continue across these areas. Winter weather advisory for Brainerd Lakes area all the way down into the Sauk Center and St. Cloud area, where we will have a look at some problem areas there as well. And now in the area of the blizzard warning, there are a couple things that I want you to be aware of here. And as we take a look at the radar is on here, we're seeing a little bit of light snow. That's what this little white stuff you see is here in the area of Minnesota, showing up near the Duluth radar. And then as we look into La Crosse near the radar site there, we see a batch of snow. Get out into Milwaukee, Green Bay, there's heavier snow heading out in that general direction. So we don't have a lot of snow falling out of the sky, but we still do have that blowing and wind problem with this particular system. Now let's take a look at those winds and show you what's going on with regards to our latest wind gusts and our peak wind gusts today. Here you go. We did hit near 50 miles per hour in eastern Montana, western North Dakota, central part of the state, south central part of the state. As you get into Wishick, Napoleon, 53 mile per hour gusts in that neck of the woods, and 40 mile per hour gusts in Steele and in Mandan. Botno, 47 mile per hour gusts for you, and we hit nearly that up in that Hallock area in Kitson County with 45 to 50 mile per hour gusts there. Travel has been quite tricky. Look at you, Warren. Again, I got a picture from one of you viewers out there showing drifts next to the garage that had to total upwards of 10 to 12 feet, and another very windy and snowy day there. As for the Crookston area, 47 mile per hour peak gusts. Now let's look at those gusts at the present time. Across Minnesota and the Red River Valley is where things are strongest. If you get into the Grant County area here, Wendell and Elbow Lake, we're seeing that 37 mile per hour gust persisting there. Out in central Minnesota, thanks to some trees, it's not quite as bad. Things are really quieting down in parts of western North Dakota, and winds are gusting under 10 to 15 miles per hour there. Wind chill indices as a result of the winds are hitting the 40s below and 50s below. Not going to be out of the question in an isolated place or two as we continue through the overnight, because the winds will remain strong, as we'll show you in the forecast. So dangerous wind chills will remain a problem as we go through your night for the night tonight. Now we'll take a look here at what's going on with regards to our clouds today. There were a couple of clouds on the visible satellite. We'll show you that you'll see the streams as this loads up and sets into motion of these narrow bands of lofted and blowing snow. So we did have some incredible looking low clouds combined with bursts and blasts of snow that were in these what look like train tracks rolling through. We see still a few of these moving through southeast North Dakota, eastern South Dakota right now. And when one of these moves over your area, a quick burst of reduced visibility is going to continue in the nighttime hours heading through. Now, as we go through the next couple of days, we do have some changes to talk about as well. And now we'll focus a little bit more on your forecast. So let's get right to what's going on here. Let's take a look at our radar too. I do want to point out our temperature changes across the area. So the cold air is returning now after we saw a warming trend throughout part of the day. Those north winds have returned and temperatures are on their way back down, nosediving and much colder than they were yesterday at this time. Pardon me while I load up the right thing here. So what we're going to take a look at this hour is how the blue color colors illustrate temperatures are 30 degrees colder than 24 hours ago south of Saskatoon, Medicine Hat, heading into parts of northeast Montana, Wolf Point, and Glasgow. And as we get in a little bit closer, we'll see here that Williston and Minot are really starting to see that temperature drop heading into the nighttime hours. It's just now starting to spill into the James River Valley. It's still warmer than it was yesterday at this time in parts of South Dakota as well. As you look out toward the Twin Cities, they're about a horse apiece, whether it's warmer or colder, about the same as far as that goes. Now, when we take a look at some of the other facts going on in our area here, we do have some well, we showed you the wind chills. Here's a look at the very latest with regards to visibility, where you see these colors here in black. That's where the visibility is showing up to be pretty tricky. So let me get this for you. So we've got better visibility, pardon me, in the Minot area, and then as we go up into northern Minnesota, not as bad, and we're down to under a half of a mile in places out here along the Highway 2 corridor between Grand Forks and Bemidji, and that snow definitely impacts that as we go through. Now let's take a quick peek at those road conditions, and then we'll get on to the forecast. We still have closed roads and highways. Here's a look at North Dakota. The Interstate 29. I made a mistake in one of my earlier posts today. My apologies. It's been a long couple of days, but we do have a closure of I-29 between Grand Forks and the Canadian border still intact. All of the red counties that you see here, those are areas where there is a no travel advisory. Now, you are allowed to travel if you must in a no travel advisory, but it's best to just stay put if you can, because the road conditions are simply terrible. In the purple shaded counties in eastern North Dakota, this is a travel alert. You're going to run into periods and places where there's no visibility or reduced visibility greatly. Here is what it looks like as we head into that Cavalier area into the night, and we are seeing a little bit of an improvement to the visibility there after a very rough day of weather. Here's I-29, and this is at the Bosemont exchange up to the north, and the visibility at times is still dropping down to near zero in these places, so it does remain closed at this nighttime hour until the wind can let up enough to let the road crews catch up to what's going on. Now, earlier in the day, I-29 was closed between Fargo and Grand Forks as well. That is not closed anymore, but we definitely still have travel issues. There are a couple of places of concern here. There is a warning issued for North Dakota 18 for a roadway filling up with heavy snow and drifting and blowing snow up there on Highway 18, north of Interstate 94, north of the Castleton area. And here is a look at Interstate 94 at Castleton to the west of the FM area. And you can see here, it's very difficult. You can see the road surface there, but those north winds causing drifting to blow over the top of the interstate there as well. We do have some sort of an incident report on I-29 in Richland County here. Let me get to the warning on that. And that says that we definitely have, that's a weight restriction going on there, and travel speeds are delayed here as well. Over a bridge, and it does look like as far as incidents go, I'm not seeing much there. And we do still have some very slippery roads with horizontal flakes flying in those gusty winds across Interstate 29. That's a look at North Dakota as we head into the evening. I'd be happy to answer your questions here as we wrap in just a little bit, and thanks again for joining me here on Hutch's Weather. For Minnesota roads, all of these signs here, the minus signs, those are all closed roadways. These include Highway 75 north-south along the Red River Valley. We also have Highway 9 going up from Halstead all the way from the Ada area. Earlier is where it was closed at there as well. We'll take you in and show you also all the east-west thoroughfares that go into the Red River Valley, including from the Hallock area to the Red River Valley. Also, all the way from Carlstead, we do have it closed out towards Drayton. That's Highway 11 out there. Here is a camera view of that particular area. We'll load that up, and it still has very gusty winds and areas of just junk for visibility out there across northwesternmost Minnesota. But by the time you get out a little closer to Greenbush, we can clearly see the pavement. But even there, we're getting some blowing snow, reducing visibility there. So it's not a picnic, to say the least. Highway 2 is closed, and that remains closed from East Grand Forks through Fisher and right into the Crookston area. So keep that in mind. Here is a look at what it looks like there. Again, closed roads are closed so that nobody gets stranded stranded out there, remember, if you can't see, the emergency responders cannot see either. So there are problems on these areas. And now look at this, all the way from the Borup area, all the way north to near the international border there. Highway 9 is also closed as it goes through the region. So keep that in mind. Now, here's what it looks like as we look into the Fargo area. This is I-94 just east of the FM area, Moorhead. At times we get these bursts of wind coming through, and it's kicking up some of this fresh fallen powder snow that is really about the region. Here's Lake Park. We have more of the same icy roads with horizontal flakes flying in the winds. Not a lot of new snowfall happening as we've gone through the afternoon. A lot of this is lofted snow, or else one of those narrow bands on the clouds that we were showing you moving over your area. Some impressive pictures coming in we'll get to if we have time in a minute. So thanks to all of you for participating in Hutch's coverage of the weather. I-94, let's get to that. Now, it is not, I-94 to the east is not closed, but it's not fun. Check this out as you're looking out there in parts of Otter Tail County, and it is very difficult to see as we get down into the area of Alexandria, though. We start to see a little bit of an improvement in the conditions out there with regards to visibility, but still, it's poor at times. Now, this area, we do have some crashes showing up here. All of these little purple asterisks showing areas where we have a westbound vehicle spun out and another one. So it's going to be icy, and make sure you're taking your precautions there. No cruise control. Plenty of distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, and just go slow. If you wind up in one of these whiteouts, which will happen in places at times, you're going to have some troubles there. Now, the Highway 10 corridor, as you go through Detroit Lakes, all the way through Perham and out towards the Brainerd Lakes area here, what you're going to run into when we get out towards Motley, more of the same. Look at this. The lanes there are covered with snow on the edges, so it's hard for the road crews to keep everything clear as you're going out through that direction. Even though it's showing up as green, it ain't perfect. Now, there was a big batch of snow, and I want to point out this area right here from St. Cloud, Sauk Center. This whole area, you see the dots here? That means at times and in places, those snowplow drivers are reporting near zero visibility in these areas. So keep in mind, while it looks okay in St. Cloud and in the area of Sauk Center, we have areas that are getting some difficult visibility at times. And there's more of this to be talked about down in south central parts of the state. So as we go down in that Windham area, here's a purple area, and this is an area where they got no travel advisory on this purple road from Windham through Mountain Lake. And here is what that looks like out there at dark 30 as we head into the overnight hours. Blowing snow across the road surface, and at times near zero visibilities along that stretch of road. And that goes all the way out till we get towards that St. James area where they are reporting some visibility issues there as well. Now, as you get a little closer to the Twin Cities, and we'll take you into the western suburbs there where 94 splits off to 694 and 494, we can see here that the visibility is greatly improved in the Twin Cities. There's been snow all day up 35 and on the way out toward the Duluth area as well. And the roads up in and around Duluth have taken on a little bit of snow, but the visibility a little bit better than it was earlier today. That's a look at your Minnesota roads. South Dakota, you know what, things have not been perfect to say the least, but we have not had problems with travel advisories or any road closures there, where you see the pink lines, the white lines, the blue lines here. Very icy travel through Aberdeen, and at times reduced visibility as well in the state of South Dakota, as some of these narrow bands of snow and quick shots of snow and lofted snow have worked their way across to the Sisseton Hills area. I will take a look at this road report for you here. As we go right in, you're going to see here as we get in towards Sisseton to Watertown. Oh, let's go to Sisseton area here. And what you're going to see is, while the visibility is vastly improved, but again, at times we're getting that flake fly-in-ness going through the area there. Watertown, it was very icy a day ago, and now things look very good. So the farther south you get, we're starting to see a little bit of an improvement in the state of South Dakota. Let's go to Manitoba roads, shall we? Because up in Manitoba, I-29 is closed at the international border. That turns into 75, and we still have closures there to report to you as well. So stay put between Winnipeg and the international border crossing there at Pembina. That crossing, that road closed, and a look at what things are looking like for our neighbors to the north. That one was taken earlier before the sunset. Here we go. Visibility improved, but it's very glazed and icy, and until these wind speeds calm down, that's what's going on. I'm going to pull up my screen so I can interact with you and see your comments on any of the videos that we've got up here so far. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much for your comments right here. I see a lot of you are making them on the YouTube channel. Thank you so very much. Hello from Wyoming, Stephen. Good to see you on board. Cheryl Johnson, thanks for joining. FJ, it looks like how cold for the next weekend? I'm going to call it armpit rubbing cold times 2. Armpit rubbing cold squared. Nostril assaulting cold is on its way, as we'll get to in the 7-day forecast. Let's talk first about this blizzard forecast, and then I'm going to go deep and get a deep dive into your questions here as well. Let me pull up questions on Facebook. Hey, everybody, good to see you. It's been slightly snowing on and off all day, Spooner, Wisconsin. Gary, thank you for your report. Thank you for watching. And indeed, different areas of Wisconsin have got hit harder. You get up north near the Great Lakes there on the south shores, and oh my goodness, there's been some, more than shovel trouble up there. Thanks for your stars, Rick, Kim, Christine, and Barbara, all of you. Now, forecast focused for the rest of this broadcast because we have a lot to talk about. There's some changes coming. Number one, this blizzard isn't done. We're going to tell you when the wind ends and what you can expect to start your Monday on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Then as we go through the week, we have 2 more shots of snow coming Tuesday and Wednesday. Hutch is going to tear them apart like a bad paper I wrote back in school. You got to tear it over and start it over again. Okay, let's get to that. So hour by hour forecast, we're going to grab a model here that is going to be from one of the more recent model runs here. And as we go through, we're going to set this into motion. And what we're going to do is watch these isobars. Now, I was mentioning earlier today that it was told to us in television that people don't want to see isobars, but I want to show you how there's value to these. Where they're far apart is where we have light winds, and things have really quieted down out in Montana and western parts of North Dakota tonight. And as we continue into the overnight hours here, that trend will continue. But the isobars are closest together across parts of central Minnesota and even western Minnesota and the valley. So the blizzard warning continues until midnight. But I think we're going to have winds in the area that will still be a little bit on the gusty side as we go in toward your morning hour. So let's pause this at 6 a.m. here to 7 a.m. when you're fixing to go driving somewhere. What's it going to be like? We'll have the strongest winds in the Arrowhead of Minnesota, and shifting for you into Spooner, Wisconsin, Eau Claire, as you get out over towards Hudson, we'll have some breezy wind conditions. The isobars here are sprawled apart, meaning 6 a.m. won't be too bad here, but we still could see some gusts over 20 miles per hour. That means our roads are just going to be junky. They're going to have snow and icy spots on them, but at least we should have that ability to see way better. Hey, thanks a lot for likes. Thanks a lot for comments, and thanks a lot for shares on these videos. That helps spread these videos across the platforms, so thank you very much. So, decreasing wind in the morning hours. You'll have almost no wind out to the west. Here in the valley, we'll have some wind, and out to the east, not so much. The snowfall will be gone. I do think we'll have some slippery roads to contend with across the region as we recover, and it's going to be a brief recovery, folks. Now, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead in time. Monday, noon, 18Z is noon. Okay, so as we go through your noon hour, boom, quiet winds. We're enjoying some sunshine in the valley. You'll get a chance to get some vitamin D out there, but it's going to be so cold. You got to wear so much clothes, you're not going to get much vitamin D on your skin. That sun isn't going to be touching your skin. Still a northerly component to the wind through the midday hour in parts of the Arrowhead of Minnesota. Your drive home, 4 to 6 p.m., the high pressure system is right smack dab over the valley and will be very cold as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. And your wind starts changing direction late from the south out in Montana, and look what happens. Here comes our next wave, our next weather-making system, right straight out of Montana. We're going to have some snowflakes in Plentywood and Freud and Brockton, Culbertson, all the way out to Glasgow, Montana, stretching down into the oil patch. This is by the time we get to your Tuesday morning. This system will slide with its snow chances west and south as we go through. Now, this model doesn't have too much making it into the Southern Valley. There are a couple models that do, so I'll say this. It's still a little bit early to be forecasting snowfall totals for everybody. I think we'll have a shot at some snow in places like Fargo, Jamestown, Valley City, but the better chance for more accumulations will be off to the west of us. Now, there is some evidence here that we're going to have another system working its way through as we go into the forecast period. Oops, I don't want to go with that model. I want to go with this one, the European. Okay, so we're going to look at the non-high resolution, so ignore my top there. There's the high pressure moving over tomorrow. Here's our next weather wiggle coming down out of Calgary, Alberta. It's an Alberta clipper clipping Montana, northern Montana, from Glasgow and Cut Bank right down into western parts of North Dakota and eastern Wyoming. Now, look at this spread through a little bit farther to the north. That's why I like the European model, and I do like the Canadian model, which has done an amazing job with these last couple of windy blizzards that we've had here, in my humble opinion. Now, as we do take a look at this, there is a chance as we go through your Tuesday here in the Southern Valley of seeing some snow. You get a break. This system does not come with the wind or nearly the amount of wind, but the one coming on Wednesday does. Yes, I said it. There's another one on Wednesday that's coming too. So in this update, here it comes on the heels. It's two separate clipper systems working through. That second one promises to give more widespread snow shower activity to the region as it goes through. And look at the winds behind this one. See these isobars here in eastern parts of the Dakotas in particular? Right in southern North Dakota and the valley portions and I-29 corridor of South Dakota, gusty winds return on your Wednesday. This is the drive time home forecast. So the snow falls first, then the wind rips and causes more blowing. So I think Wednesday will be the highlight day for our particular area. So here's your forecast for tonight. There's a couple of things to think about. Thing one, decreasing winds by morning, about 8 miles per hour in central North Dakota to the valley. We'll have about 15 miles per hour. You get into Minnesota, we could still have a few areas with some 30-mile-per-hour gusts, particularly from central and eastern Minnesota into the Arrowhead with the exit of the system. So there will still be some BS or blowing snow out there. Look at these ridiculous temperatures, 10 to 20 below zero, and I do believe some of us will be colder. Warren, I've seen your snow piles out there. You're going to have some really nasty cold temperatures in these areas with that fresh snow that has made its way through the region. Things will be warming up out to the west as we look into southern and western North Dakota and eastern Montana going into your day. Then heading into your afternoon, we're talking about temperatures that warm only to around zero in Fargo, and we stay below zero all day along and north of Highway 2. Some of us in the James River Valley will continue to be below zero. We'll still have a light northwesterly wind at 5 to 15 miles per hour for the better part of the day, but we will have a chance at seeing good old Mr. Sunshine out there. You sunset 5:11. We should be able to see that event for the first time in what seems like forever. Then our next system with south winds starts taking hold, and on that boundary, we could see an increase in clouds working their way through there. And that's what we have going on there. Now, let's see what we got here. I'm going to have to pull up some images here for us as we start with our forecast, and we're going to start with that forecast for the snowfall. Snowfall from round one. This is Wednesday, so let me just see if I can get the correct graphic up here. My apologies. This won't take me but just a second to click on the right graphic. My eyeballs are getting a little tired, I think. Okay, here is round number one of the snowfall as we go through Tuesday. Notice how it's a western North Dakota, eastern Montana event, and there could be a pocket that sees an inch to 2 inches, a little bit more in a couple of places. Very similar to the last couple of events. We don't have a lot of warm air to hold much moisture, so we don't get a lot of snow. These are usually more blow than snow, but we don't get a lot of wind with this one either. Again, starting out here as we go into your Tuesday morning, as we go into the Tuesday midday hour, I think we'll have a chance at some snow in Fargo, but I'm calling it a ½ inch to maybe an inch as opposed to what you're seeing on here. I think it'll be a little bit lower impact, but we might be able to measure it a heck of a lot easier. Down through South Dakota, Watertown, and maybe as far south as Huron, we could see that narrow stretch as it taps into a little more moisture in the central plains, and that could bring us some areas that get 3 or more inches of snow. Southern Minnesota, south of the cities. Glencoe, are you listening? Hey, how about this all the way out towards Rochester? So it does look like there'll be a narrow, heavier band in southern Minnesota should your travels take you there, and really just some nuisance snow to add insult to injury up in parts of northern Red River Valley counties. So now let's go ahead and take a look, if I can find it, what we're expecting for the second day. So this is Wednesday. Now you're talking. Check it out. A little bit more widespread aerial coverage of snow, but not particularly heavy, but windy. So this will be a gustier system on our Wednesday, moving from northwest to southeast. This model is a little early. This is the European model. It is pegging the area with a little bit of a bullseye over Fargo. I'm not excited about that yet, but if I have to put numbers on it, this is my expectation for your hump day as we see this second clipper work its way through, and a little bit more snow working its way into parts of Wisconsin, Iowa, and southern Minnesota as well. So that is a look at what I have going on here. This is what it looks like on your 7-day planner. Let's go over this real quickly. Number one, a lot of white going on out there, but we're going to get a break from it on your Monday. Bitter cold in Fargo, colder still up north. We will have some areas near 20 below zero. Your temperatures in the afternoon below zero north, but we hit the 0-degree mark as we go into your Monday on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. That's the slick start to your day. Travelers, have Hutch's weather app handy and make sure you check it to see those rural roads and whether they're open and when they're open. Likely, we'll start to see some improvement during the late overnight hours, and hopefully our DOT crews can get things cleared back up and opened for us once that drifting slows down just a little bit. Hey, a little rebound as we go into Tuesday. The morning will be a little painful, but after that we start warming up to 6 degrees on our way to 12. So the snow shot on Tuesday will be mainly west and in the Southern Valley, and it doesn't look to be too terrible bad out in western North Dakota. We could have a couple places with a couple inches of snow. Then as we go into Wednesday, measurable snow, we'll call it in our area. We'll highlight the highlight bands where it looks like it will be focusing as we go through. Look at the big time warm up and wave goodbye, because some of the coldest air of the season is coming for late week and into the weekend ahead. Snow Tuesday, snow Wednesday, and afterwards, look out. Uncle Frosticles makes his return. The coldest air of the season looks to be on tap for Fargo Moorhead. We have had some 20 below weather, but we're going to be kissing 30 below for your morning temperatures. So Friday and Saturday, very frigid weather working its way. Dangerous cold, dangerous for travel as well, and dangerous for your furnaces. Why? They're working overtime all day long to maintain a comfortable temperature in your house. So please make sure you're checking things with your furnace. Make sure you're checking to make sure that the exhaust pipes going out from your natural gas furnace don't have ice accumulation on them. That can block the CO2 from getting out and cause problems. Check your smoke detectors, because I am telling you, in weather like this, it's very common that our fire departments are going out to put fires out from overworked furnaces, space heaters, and things of that nature. Be extremely cautious, please, and use some care about what's going on, because your furnace will be working overtime. Hutch did a nice cleaning of my pellet stove here that provides me a cozy place in my work office setting. So bitter cold air is heading here as we go through the forecast period. Let's take a look. Don't mind this graphic. I'm going to have to switch it over here just one second. But the wind chill values for your morning on Monday look like this. Look at this. 30 to 40 below for actual wind chills, with the wind that's going to be around 5 to 20 miles per hour in the valley in the very early morning hours as we go through 7 a.m. or so. And it's going to be mighty cold across central Minnesota. We're talking 30 to 40 degree below wind chill values. Exposed skin can freeze in 10 minutes. And that's why we want you bundled up, but that's also why we want you to have a good winter survival kit as you go outside. So in that survival kit, a quick review, make sure you have all of the essentials for your health. That's things like your medicines and medications, some food and water for everybody, things to stay warm for everybody. If you happen to get stranded and your car doesn't run, you won't have a heater. So I highly recommend candles and matches, a shovel to get out of a situation that's like that, and make sure you leave one cell phone that's fully charged and you're not gaming on it or something like that, so nobody has a cell phone to call for help should you lose power, because that's happened. So at any rate, please travel with caution, use some care out there. Now I will try to answer a couple of questions. If you have something to add to my survival kit list here, go ahead and drop it in the comments and let me know. All right, Crystal says, I've been seeing that there is zero visibility between Fargo and Fergus Falls, and that is exactly the case. At times, you're going to hit those lanes of the gusts. Simon, I'm going from bottom up here, so I'm going to kind of be off track with the most recent questions. Charity, thanks for watching. Thank you very much, Bonnie, for the question. You can turn the fan off and heat it up. That would be a good thing if I had control to do that. That's something I would do too, because I agree. Thank you very much, Charity, for watching. Bonnie says, turn that fan off. Marion says, thanks to Wendy. Christine, thanks for your stars. We're looking here at a lot of comments and questions. What do you mean the numbers? What do all the numbers mean on the isobar mean? Oh, that's those isobars. Those are the pressure measurements, because isobars are lines of constant barometric pressure. So those numbers are labels for the pressure that's measured. Pressure is what drives the wind. So when we have a change in pressure, the isobars let us see where the pressure changes the greatest. Where the pressure changes the greatest, we have the isobars really close together. That's where the winds drive the hardest. Rita says, what do you expect the roads from Fargo to Mayville be the next few days? There's going to be slippery spots. On Monday, we'll have a nice break from the wind. Tuesday, we'll get a break from the wind going up north, and so hopefully there'll be some clear roads. But by Tuesday in the afternoon and evening drives, we could get another dose of snow in the Southern Valley, Rita. After that, there's a Wednesday chance at some more snow and wind, so it looks rough and tumble there. And then the Arctic air arrives as we go into the late week. So that's it. It's going to be tough. It's going to be icy. We've been here. We've done that before in the upper Midwest and Northern Plains, but that's what I'm expecting. Thanks for your question. Judy, thank you very much for your update. Mighty cold in Grand Forks, North Dakota, is that's for sure. We've got some blue line weather out there for those of you who are hockey fans. Luther, thank you very much. I appreciate you for watching. Alberta Clippers always land in Dexter, Minnesota. Tom Hall, thank you for that. There tends to be a track that sets up with these depending on where the snowfall is and where the snowfall isn't, because that area always will give us a difference in temperatures. When we have a difference in temperatures, that sets up a difference in pressures, and that's where the jet stream rides, right over that area in the boundary between where there's no snow and snow. So we're going to see some interesting stuff going on with this, as now we've expanded some of the snow coverage across the region, and cold air is going to allow it to stay. It's so cold, and I'm glad there's no school, says Dandelion. Good to have you on board, Dandelion. And how about Catalina here asking a question? Rumors are next week, polar plunge with temperatures as low as 20 below. That's the rumors. Any truth? We just talked about it on the 7-day. We'll put it back up here, but it's not just truth. It's dangerous fact that it looks like a extended period of mighty cold weather as we go through the late week, and the early week isn't going to be much of a picnic either. So yeah, thank you for your question, Catalina. Paul, thanks for asking. Stay warm, be safe, and keep rocking. I appreciate that, Glenwood, Minnesota. It's wonderful to have you on board. Thanks so much, Ethan, for saying howdy. How cold for next weekend? We talked about that. Thanks. I'm glad we answered some of these questions. I hope you stuck around for the video. That is it. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. We've had a lot to talk about. I want to throw a special thanks out to Chrissy and Dawn for your contributions on the Venmo page, and for all of you who have made orders on Hutch's shop. Online. You asked for some gear, some Hutch gear, and we put together some swag for you, and you can find that on Hutch's new app or on my website, hutchesweather.com. We also want to thank everybody who's participated by uploading photos. And again, wild weather going on. This is Nathan sharing a little measurement in the FM area. I believe, what's it say here? Yep, Moorhead, Minnesota. It looks like about 3 inches total where this measurement was taken. Nathan, thank you. This is terrible out here. Not only do we have enough wind and blowing snow, but if you're crowding a plow, you're not going to see nothing. You get caught in that window, and it's called that snow plow fog, if you will. This was earlier, Deanne. Thank you very much, and appreciate your photo. Here's some video from Georgetown, Minnesota. Cheryl, thank you very much. But check this out. When you get this little lane of gusts that make their way down, mix their way down from the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, it just rocks, and the snow blows, and the visibility goes. So So that's how it works. Thank you, Cheryl, for uploading your video clip. Short video clips are allowed. This is McLeod County out there. Beth Ann, thank you for that. And just because we got to take a look at our friends at Indian Shores, Florida, out there, not far from Fort Myers, we do have Josh sharing this with us. Whew, there are some pretty dark looking clouds that they had to contend with, those poor folks. Thank you again for all of your photos. You can upload them here. Now on Hutch's on Hutch's website here, your road conditions are updated here, and they are on the app, and I highly encourage you to check this first thing in the morning. Hit the app up, because this changes minute by minute as the roads deteriorate, and then it changes minute by minute or hour by hour as roads open up. So if you're in Minnesota and North Dakota and Manitoba where roads are closing, you can have Hutch's weather app on hand, and it will take care of you with all the information that you need there. And on Hutch's website, and of course elsewhere, there is a trip Hutch is going on this summer as we think about warmer weather and have smiles on our faces. That trip is to Norway, and I would love to have you join me on a trip to Norway. We've got a professional tour guide who is from Norway, and his name is Frode, and he's a very exciting guy, and he knows his way around. So I'm excited to head to the trip. You can find out more information here, and there's a webinar coming up on Tuesday the 27th of this month of January. You can sign up for the webinar by clicking on the link that I have on my website and on the app, and following that to the page, and that gets you to my friends at Brecky Tours and Travels, or you can call the information number here. On this page, by the way, is a look at the itinerary. We're going to Oslo, Voss, Bergen, all the way up to Trondheim up there, fjord country, mountainous country. A beautiful trip, and I cannot wait to see where my great-grandfather immigrated to the United States from at the age of 13. So I'm very interested and tied into this, and I'd be looking to go with you. Now, there's information on the daily itinerary as well as the costs of the tour. And if you are flying out of Fargo, that's what this is based on. If you're flying out of somewhere else, give my friends at Brecky Tour and Travel a call, and they will help you out there. That's a look at your weather. Thank you so much for participating. Have a wonderful night, and I will check back in with you in the morning again. Check those roads before you go. Don't drive tonight if you don't have to, as this system winds down. Thanks so very, very much.
This has been a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Wait, you forgot the new app. You're right, I did. Don't forget to download our new app. Oh, now let's rock. Thanks for watching.